Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Hammersmith Album Presents My Bottom. And I'm delighted to be joined once again by the lovely Katie Thompson. Say hello, Katie.
Buongiorno.
Who you will recognise from episode 5, parts 1 and 2 of the Hammersmith Album Present My Bottom, where we talked about your bottom. So delighted to have Katie back to talk more about bottom. And episode 6 is called My Bottom on Tape. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, those of you who are avid followers of the Hammersmith Hardman will know that quite a lot of the time I post about my Bottom VHS collection, and I ask you if you've got any VHSs or if you've got any memories attached to having Bottom VHS tapes. For you younger kids out there who don't know what a VHS is, it's how we used to watch Bottom before you could get it on DVD, or before even more now when you can stream it. So we used to watch it on a VHS player. We used to have to build the VHS player, install it. How long does it usually take to install it?
Inside a year.
Yeah. So these are this dates back to the 90s when Bottom first came out. So we're just going to have a quick chat today about some of the items in my VHS collection. Does that sound good to you?
It sounds brilliant. Remind me, what episode number is this?
6.
3, 2, 1.
God, I bet he's good in bed. It wasn't, was it? It wasn't. Who is it they were talking about?
Ted Rogers.
It wasn't Ted Rogers, it was the bird from the abattoir that looked like Ted Rogers.
Honestly, amateurs.
Ted Rogers in a dress. 6 foot Neanderthal pig.
You look good in English, wanker! Sorry to the Welsh.
He's just trying to get in your pants. He'd have a job.
It was only picking up, eh?
So you admit it?
Trollop! Oh.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little skit.
It kind of happens when we get together, doesn't it?
It does happen,
Yeah.
It does happen.
It does.
So, let's delve into my bottom box and pull out VHS number 1, which I think is a good choice because from the discussions we've had about bottom, I think this covers pretty much both our favourite episodes.
Absolutely it does.
It is.
Smooth.
It is a copy of Bottom Hole, and there's an interesting backstory to this before we get into talking about it. This isn't the actual copy, but Bottom Hole is the first VHS that I got on VHS from my parents allowed me to get a VHS of Bottom, and I think I got it for Christmas. I didn't specifically ask for a particular, but I just I want some Bottom on tape, please, and they eventually let me have this. This is the one I got, so I watched this one over and over again, and I think when DVDs came in and VHSs became obsolete, I think I just binned all my VHSs or gave them to a charity shop when charity shops were still accepting them. But I've replenished my collection by getting them off eBay and stuff. So this could easily be my original version of Bottom Hole. I don't know.
Imagine the journey it's been on.
I know. Imagine if it has. Yeah. So this is the first one to talk about, and the reason why I think this is good because I think when we first kind of started talking about Bottom a while ago, I think we both agreed quite quickly. I think I said at some point I'm going to do like a World Cup of Bottom.
Yes.
And I think you said first that Hole was your favourite episode, which is also my favourite episode. So I think a good place to start talking about Bottom tapes is Bottom Hole. Tell me why, Katie, Hole is your favourite episode. Give me a list of reasons why.
So, at the risk of sounding like a bit nerdy, in various interviews I've seen mainly with Ade Edmondson, he said that he and Rick kind of bonded over their love of the play Waiting for Godot, which I think was Samuel Beckett.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that their kind of acting style was quite Beckettian. So in Waiting for Godot, it's just kind of two men, nothing really going on around them, just two people just kind of chatting. So it's relying a lot on the dialogue.
Yes.
And obviously there's a lot of kind of calamitous episodes of Bottom, lots of stuff going on. But in Whole, they are just confined to this space on a Ferris wheel. And for me, even though all the slapstick violence is amazing, it's the dialogue that just... It's superb, and I think every time you watch it, it's kind of you see something new that you didn't see before, and there are so many quotable lines, and it's just hilarious.
Yes, I agree completely with that. I think all my favourite episodes of Bottom, I think we probably touched upon this in the last episode probably, but all my favourite episodes of Bottom are the ones where it's just the two of them. Mm-hmm. In the flat, or in Hole when they're on the Ferris wheel, or in Bottoms Out when they're in Wimbledon Common. And I think it's just the two of them. Obviously, it's scripted and the dialogue is brilliant, but it just feels like they're still just like in the moment bouncing off each other.
Yeah.
And I think in Whole in particular, you don't actually get to any of the kind of slapsticky, violent type stuff for a good 10-15 minutes. It's
No.
just dialogue, isn't it? It starts with them talking about Eddie's trouser accident.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and him saying, no, I don't think he's a bona fide Blake, you know.
Yeah. Cleavage and
Cleavage going from there, and then they get into the kind of the back and forth with the fairground people because it's closing down, and then we get to before that we get to the vast slug bit, which I think is probably one of the highlights of Bottom, where
Rick Mayall's magnum opus, I think.
Yes, I would agree with that. Where he kind of basically says, it's the original Van Hoyism. It's the original Van der Herz. It hasn't had a watch since 1963. And yeah, we all know the line on that. But I mean, I don't know. Does one of us want to?
Do you want me to do it?
Go on, you do it. Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want to do it?
I can. Well, should we do it together? That little thing's come up again. The thumb up on your head. But he says, but if you had the common decency to go out and get yourself a proper job, and not hang around the fat all day like some vast slug. And so on. And I think it's the vast.
What I love is how they both go.
And all the while, he's just kind of looking away, isn't he? Just kind of going.
Yeah, like two children.
Yes, very much.
Like brother and sister arguing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can see Richie sort of just like leaning there and go, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it you were saying that that's the first and only time they kind of like properly fall out? Someone read that somewhere. Someone they properly like kind of fall out and don't kind of. There's no like kind of reconciliation, is it? They just properly fall out. They have a massive argument,
and then they die.
And then it comes back around because the Ferris wheel could be a love Ferris wheel.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, it could be a love Ferris wheel.
But then it carries on. We get to talk about Keith and Deirdre.
Yes.
The tattoos are a little larger on their thigh. I know we've actually that was before the vast slug bit, wasn't it? Because that's where he says, "They don't call me the Hammersmith Crumpet Radar for nothing."
Yes.
So
yes.
We're jumping back and forth a bit here. It's actually been a while since I watched the episode.
Yeah. Lots of mud wrestling and mumps and things.
Yes. Why do you always get the mumps during mud wrestling?
Yeah.
So we don't actually get to anything that you would traditionally associate with Bottom till probably when Richie has his little freak out.
Yeah.
So, I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here.
Yeah.
That's about halfway through the episode.
Yeah.
So you've literally just relied, the first 10-15 minutes is just purely relied on them back and forthing with each other with the dialogue. So I think that is, but it's not just Holt that you get that in Bottom break. You get it's just the two of them. Culture, it's just the two of them.
I guess the beauty of Holt is that it's kind of building that tension almost.
Yes.
Which, you wouldn't expect something so sort of sophisticated in Bottom, but actually there's a lot, like I say, it's layered, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's building to those moments of desperation, like we might die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get back to blighting.
Gonna find myself a beautiful woman. Heck, maybe even raise some kids.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first episode of Series 3, Bottom Hole.
Mm-hmm.
So it obviously had been away for a few years, and they obviously wanted to come back with something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because it was very, very different, I think, Hole from any of the other episodes. Obviously, Bottom's out. They were in the Wimbledon Common the whole time, but it was just a completely different sort of setup and style.
Yeah.
Right through to ending with the very surreal ending of them. God's hand coming out and them standing on. That was also really that was quite unbottom like, wasn't it? Think about it.
So season 3, wasn't it? So I don't know if they've kind of embedded their relationship quite nicely with the BBC now, and maybe I thought they could take the piss out of it a bit more.
Maybe.
But they're sort of saying we don't want to get shit on this one,
Yeah.
with the religion and stuff. So.
Yeah. But just the idea of like God's hand coming out and them sort of stepping onto it. Just not had this. Not the other the endings of the other episodes had never really sort of had that kind of feel to it. It was
nothing kind of sort of surreal almost like. Whereas in the young ones that wouldn't be out of place at all. Just a random prosthetic hand.
Yes. Perfectly normal way to include in the young ones, but not in Bottom because it was very much set in kind of like this kind of as perverse as love is. This kind of could be real. This could definitely be real, but then God's hand coming out, probably couldn't happen. But then that's the kind of the setup for like if you think about how it ended.
I suppose maybe this whole season is just a little bit more experimental with props and stuff.
Maybe they had a bigger budget, prop budget, same sound budget probably, budget.
The same sounds, isn't it?
Same sounds all the way through, which is quite reassuring. I think I quite like that they never sort of even throughout the live shows they never kind of. Steered away from those traditional sounds. There's a really good. I think it's in the Bottom Exposed documentary. If you've not seen it, I'm hoping most people. If you're listening and listening to and watching this, I'm hoping you've seen the Bottom Exposed documentary. There's a big bit about the sounds on there, how a lot of them were created specifically. Like they needed like a bollock crushing sound. So they messed around with crushing different types of things to come up with the perfect ball crushing sound.
What a job!
I know, amazing. But also, I've been on like the live shows when they had we might come to the live show shortly, but when they had to really be spot on with the timing for the sounds.
Yes.
To get it at the exact right time. And sometimes they'd balls up and they wouldn't do the right sound at the right time, and that would always come through. But what a fun job being a sound man on Bottom, or a sound them on Bottom.
Better, thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry if that offends anyone. So yeah, I think for that reason, the incredible dialogue, the fact that they've been away for so long, and also the fact that it's one of the episodes I've watched so much because this was my first ever VHS.
Yeah.
Is probably the reason why I love Bottom Hole so much. But I think it's the vast slug. It's just that line, that clip in itself is just brilliant. Also, I love the bit where he's like the fair's. They say, so they're all sort of going away. I think the whole fair's closing down, and then Richie just goes from being quite calm and placid to the complete bastards.
Yeah, I said they're not using their fingers. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yes, yeah,
No,
yes, yeah,
no.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Bromley, It's a pretty wild place. Oh, is this a good time to mention what's coming up in March?
Yes, do it.
Yes.
Tell them.
So, in March, date for your diaries, Bottom fans, March the 4th, Tuesday, March the 4th, is the official football Bottom derby. And by that I mean it's Doncaster versus Bromley. I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you don't understand what I mean by the official Bottom derby and being Doncaster versus Bromley, then are you even a Bottom fan?
Well, yeah.
So
it's questionable.
I'll leave that up to you to figure out what I mean by that. But yes, Tuesday, 4th of March. And it's Bromley, it's in Bromley, so it's Bromley versus Doncaster. Two very prominent places in Bottom are playing each other in football, so I've now christened it the official Bottom derby, and who knows, we might go there. And
shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
See if we can talk to someone at Bromley and be like, can we do something to commemorate this?
Let's do it. And then when they switch and they come to Doncaster, would you like to? It's not far from here.
It's not, is it? I reckon they might have done that tour, because if the Bromley match, they might have missed it.
Oh, Eddie, it's all football with you. I don't understand.
Vivaldi. So, anything else you want to talk about Bottom Hole before we move on to our second favourite episode?
Only that I'm now just thinking if it was a follow-on from, Apocalypse. Do you reckon it was the same fair?
Oh, it could have been, yeah.
Maybe it's just like a nice little clapback to.
Because the proprietor was in the eye hospital.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is really.
That just came to me.
Wow, because that either that's accidentally a brilliant bit of continuity, or it is just the same fair. Thieving bastard.
I know.
Yobbos. Can't say the other thing because they, you know that from the episode of Apocalypse.
Oh, you said that. What did they call them?
Thieving bastard jippos.
Yeah, I was going to say the G word. Yeah.
But I mean, you can say it, can't you? I think we've said it now.
Rick Mail can say it.
Exactly.
You can do no wrong.
Exactly. But they dubbed over yobbos, even on the VHS, because I had also had Apocalypse VHS. Even on the VHS, so this was back in the 90s. They were dubbing out words that weren't necessarily okay to say on television. So there you go.
Very good.
But anyway, episode 3 on this VHS is Bottom Terror. It's a fine episode. It's good. Obviously, everyone loves it because it's the Halloween one, and we've got Talking Halloween Banana. We've got Richie in his devil outfit. We've got Sprouts Mexican. We've got the cattle prod. There's a lot to enjoy about Terror, but it's not up there as one of my favourites. Any highlights of Terror from you?
I mean, just Richie's outfit. Sorry, I was just laughing because I remember that time I sent you that kind of makeshift costume I threw together, including this here blanket. Well, I'd forgotten it was Halloween, and I actually have 3 pairs of Y-fronts at home because of various bottom gags. So I just put on some tights and some Y-fronts and used this as a cape. But the best part was the ears, like the devil horns, because I had like a costume for my cat, which was like bat ears, but I just put it on my head, a fashion kind of devil horns, and just put on like a shirt. So when we had trick or treaters, she'd be like, "Look, you haven't got all that."
The whole string.
So I've gone off on a tangent there, but yeah, just for the costume alone.
Yeah, I think that's good. And can I if I remember,
Please.
can I you might have to send it to me again because I'm not quite sure.
Do it, yeah, I'll send it to
I
you.
haven't got you. Send it to me again.
Yeah.
Because I think it was, if memory serves me correctly, it was quite spectacular.
Of course. I think it's also got some Spud Gun's finest moments.
Yes, there's a lot. Yeah, that's probably the most you see Spud Gun, isn't it?
Yeah.
On his own, that is interesting that you get a bit of Spud Gun on. They're not to get Dave Hedge. Obviously, they are. At the end of the episode.
Come as a pair, yeah.
They do come as a pair, but actually at the start you just get Spud Gun on his own. I've never thought of that actually before.
Maybe Christopher Ryan just wasn't around that day.
Maybe he wasn't. No, just not for that part of the filming. You're on drugs. Can I
Can I
have some?
Oh, it's a bit steep.
Steep.
I think that. Oh gosh.
Where were we?
Well, we were kind of
Terror.
like terror, whatever.
Terror, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Terror. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, the third episode on this VHS is Bottom Break, and I think again probably my second favourite episode. And I think yours.
Shut up! It's my second favourite.
My second favourite episode, and because it's a great episode.
Yes.
So what do you love about Bottom Break? Tell me.
Oh gosh, two kind of highlight. Well, no, actually, this is kind of merging the same thing. Eddie's legs being chopped off. Of course, it's just so ridiculous. I mean, obviously, I would be upset if I had flown through a conservatory window, but I love how there's just a chainsaw to hand. Just how there's a motorbike to hand that they've just fashioned into a treadmill, but then a chainsaw. Let that be a lesson to you, young man.
Let's see how far I can get without any legs.
And I've just realised I've forgotten the best bit, but do you know what? You can have that one.
Have you? There's two. I was going to go somewhere, but just going back to the chainsaw legs bit.
Yeah.
Another example of how surreal it's become at this stage.
Yes.
At that point, I know we've had things like I don't know. Richie's fallen out the window before, isn't he? In contest where he put his hand on the kettle, and there's been things that have happened in previous episodes where you probably would die if it happened to you,
Sure.
right? But there's never been anything quite so surreal as having one of them having their legs chopped off, right? And then sewing them back on. So again, a bit of a nod to, I suppose, them kind of experimenting and trying something a bit different.
Yeah.
And then, what I was going to add to that one was when he comes back in and so Eddie, what the earth are you doing? And he's like, that counts. I thought you were masturbating again.
Yeah, of course. There are too many good bits.
And then he's sewing them back on. And he goes, Oh, just kissed you on the knob then.
I just remember the swimming trunks. Oh God, right, you go.
Oh, okay, well, mine was more swimming trunk related. So when he's there's two bits to stick out in my mind. There's where Eddie doesn't want to look at his trunks, but then he does. But he opens his dressing gown up, and you get Eddie's. That is just brilliantly done. I don't know how he did that. Kept a straight face doing that. 'Cause that is superb. He's like, what colour are they?
They're yellow when I put them on. Yeah.
And then my favourite bit of Break probably is, and it's a very, very fleeting bit, where he's, I know, I'm going to get me some liposuction. Not from me, you're not, matey. Eddie, get a grip.
Super.
And that kind of takes me back to more traditional, very stupid kind of puerile Bottom.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the kind of, do you want to be skinned alive and buggered type kind of puerile Bottom where that's it's quite reassuring. It's quite a reassuring line, I think.
And again, one for the sound effects with the 12-inch club and that.
I've almost reached. That was really good, actually. I've almost reached the back. Put it on blow. Put it on blow.
Yeah.
Dirty bastard. But I think the thing you're referring to is the notes when he comes back, or when he's looking for Eddie. And he's like, Eddie, checks under a cushion, just in case it's under a cushion. And he finds a note. And he's like, I'm in the pew with the holiday monkey. Rum, rum, rum. Poor sad kids. And then he obviously turns and he's like, shit, and then crash through the wall. That is brilliant. And obviously, I think we discussed this in the last episode. I didn't share it, but you because we shared the clip of it of him doing it. We never shared your clip doing it.
No, yeah.
But you did reenact that. Was it a Christmas?
It was
Day?
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
I was just.
This is the dedication of fan you get from Katie Thompson.
Yeah.
She reenacts Bottom. She films reenacting Bottom clips, but not just from one angle, from 2 different angles.
Oh yeah.
This is the level of commitment you get.
Yeah, with 2 cameramen. Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
I just had some leftover wrapping paper, so I just kind of put it over my door. Because if you notice in the episode, it's literally just 2 bits of kind of post office paper, or whatever you call it. So I just did the same. Just thought, well, I'm not going to use that, so I just ran through the wall. Et voila.
We will this time I'll put it in, not for the podcast itself, but for the clip that we share of this.
Okay.
Make sure you can see that from both angles.
Of course. Professional.
Yeah. So yeah, but I think just again there's just a lot going on in Break. It moves very, very quickly.
Yes, it does.
Another favourite is the once he's sewn his legs back on and they're just sitting on the sofa and they're talking about, have you packed? Because I've never had any complaints. And it just goes on and on. What about spares? What if you have an accident? A trouser accident? And it just goes on and on and on, and it's all just getting too trouserial around here. Then he sets the clock and he's like, I just suggest we just sit here quietly in silence and wait for our holiday to start. Okay.
So you said about Aid doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I also love the face he's pulling there, because Richie's doing that and Aid's just going.
He's sort of jumping back, isn't he? Every time he gets in his face, he sort of jumps back.
So intense, yeah, increasingly so.
Milk.
And of course, they have wallpaper in Doncaster?
That's a good question. I mean, you're near Doncaster. Have you been to Doncaster? Have you been to Doncaster?
Yes.
B, did they have wallpaper?
I'm going to be honest. I was passing through a bus station on a coach, so I didn't see a lot of wallpaper. So I'm going to say no. 100% of the times I've been to Doncaster, I've never seen any wallpaper.
Never seen any wallpaper. That's pretty conclusive to me.
Yep.
And did you bring the open crotch ones too?
Absolutely.
Of course. When in Doncaster, it's got a dong in it.
It's lucky
omen. And then there's also another favourite, isn't there? There's the phone call to Cher.
Of course. Gosh, that's this episode as well. Yeah.
There's just so much going on in Break that it's easy to forget. And again, a bit like I forget the order because there's too much going on.
Definitely. Yeah. They could just all be kind of skits on their own.
And of course, it ends with the classic ending to every Bottom episode of one of them or both of them getting injured, and in this instance it was Richie getting a kick in the bollocks while he thinks he's getting a deck at Desmond's plonker. Todger. Well, he says Todger, but then he says plonker later on, doesn't he?
Does he? Okay.
Yeah, so he says...
My bad.
He says... I'm sure he says plonker. No, first of all it's Todger, isn't it? But at some point he says plonker, I'm sure he does.
Hammerhead?
Might be Hammerhead.
Oh, please, God. I just want to get a look at Desmond's Todger. Hammerhead.
I might have got that completely wrong. Apologies if I have, and apologies.
I would never doubt you. You are the oracle.
We'll cut that bit out. I don't like that.
Fine.
So yes, that is just a quick whistle-stop tour of Bottom Hole through the eyes of us. So yeah, leave a comment about anything that you like about either Bottom Hole, Terror, or Break. Please do that. Great. So, should we move on to the next VHS that I wanted to talk about today?
Let us. Yes.
Should I delve into my lucky dip bag? My lucky dip bag literally being there, and we know exactly what's coming out of the lucky dip bag.
Oh!
It is.
Where is the loot?
Fantastic! I knew I was great. It is, and loads of you actually sent me pictures of this. This is the Scratch and Sniff box set of the first 3 Bottom Live stage shows. I think when it was first released, it was meant to come with something like, back in the 90s, like Scratch and Sniff was all the rage, wasn't it?
It was,
you could, like, watch something on TVs. I remember doing this for like Comic Relief or something, and it just all smelt the same. It just smelled a bit weird, so I don't really know what it was meant to be. Yeah, this is meant to be some sort of quirky box set.
Yeah, look at this.
You may
it's
have,
perverse.
It's weird, isn't it? Those stains came with it. I haven't added those stains myself.
Okay. Right. Sorry, you were saying? Yeah, go on.
No, you can. So this is basically how they packaged up the first 3 live shows on VHS, and many of you have this. And I didn't have this to begin with, but I got this off of eBay.
It reminds me of like one of those kind of Kentucky Fried Chicken boxes. You know, when you order a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
And that's what it's meant to be. Look,
is that what it's meant to be?
Loaded fried
oh, of
chicken.
course, yes it is. Sorry, I didn't even see it.
No, London Fried Chicken. Does that say London?
Yes,
or Loaded?
it does.
London.
Oh, so this must be from Amal's Kebabs, right?
Yes, yeah. The gas station got one over this morning, so it's fine for me for the rest of the week.
Oh, I get it now. Oh, I thought I was being clever. I'm not. Okay. Well, tell us all about it.
Okay, so this is the first 3 live shows on VHS. I think they were sold separately, but you could also just get them in this box set. And yeah, so I didn't have this initially. I had Bottom Live 2 on VHS, and I think I just wore it down. I watched it so many times. I think we're obviously going to veer over into other things we've discussed before, but the second live show is far and away my favourite of the 5 live shows. I said the 3 live shows because I kind of the last 2 I don't tend to sort of count alongside the first 3. I'm not sure how you feel about the last 2 live shows, but I'm not a huge fan of them.
Yeah, I think we said before, just as they get a little bit too modern, or a bit dated perhaps for the time that they came out, and obviously, you know, Rick, God rest his soul, after the accident and everything, perhaps they weren't gelling as well as they were. No.
So I tend to kind of not forget they existed, but when I talk about the live shows, I tend to talk about the first 3.
Yeah.
Just because they are the goat of the live shows. But number 2 is my favourite by far, and I think I had it on DVD, VHS, and just completely like rinsed it, and then same with the DVD. And now they're all on YouTube. There's someone whose name I can't remember, but he's done a really good job of putting high quality versions of all 5 live shows on YouTube. So bearing in mind that you can only get, it's very rare to find the first 2 on DVD these days.
Yeah, not all heroes wear capes.
No, I need to track him down and think of his name, because he's done a fine job of letting people watch high quality Bottom Live clips on YouTube. So yeah, but I think 3 live shows. I never got to see any of the live shows, sadly. I was always a little bit too young, and then or they just passed me by. I think I was 18 when the last one came out, and I just didn't go and see it. But I do love them. I think so. Number 2 is my favourite. So if we go through the first 3, the first one is obviously just set in the flat. There's the kind of it's where they introduce you to Monica.
Yes.
Yes. And then there's like Rich's suicide. It's got the epic kind of AIDS monologue where he fucks up. Yeah. Don't you ever yearn for change? That goes on for about 10 minutes. One big, massive balls up. Which that one I like to think it was real. I know there's always this conversation like all the cock-ups were staged and things like that. But I think at some point, every single cock-up, even if it's staged later on, happened at some point, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
But they just left it in.
Yeah. Well, they turned it into a whole, with the whole like, other wank thing like that, turned that into a whole bit, didn't they? And stuff,
yeah.
So, why are they not?
That's the first one, and then it kind of, I don't actually watch the first one very much, so I know you often quote the Queen's Own Ketchup, which is from the first one, right? I think.
Yes, and also just from culture.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. Oh, yes. Well, it's Daddy's, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So,
yeah. Sorry.
Oh, I think. Yeah, I got confused again. Then sorry.
Are you thinking about the cornflakes?
Yeah, I am. I'm getting cornflakes.
And he's like, "What is there to eat for breakfast?" And he's like, "There's a sausage. Looks like it's been digested."
Yes. And the cornflakes, which is rock solid, and he's like, "Brick, don't touch my brick." I said brick, not penis. So yeah, but I don't watch it very often. But my favourite episode live show is the second live show, which is the one where the Queen's coming around. And I think we will do a podcast episode which is more focused on all the live shows at some point.
Yeah.
But this is just a bit of a whistle stop tour. So yeah, second live show. The Queen's coming to tea. Richie decides he wants to shag her because she's done it 4 times. And then they create the love gas, and then they end up getting put in prison for the second half of the thing, and then it's all set in prison, and then they end up going back to the flat for a cheeky kind of Act 3.
Yeah.
Where we meet Monica again, and Lesbo Ferdinand.
Yes.
And what do you think of that live show? Is that you?
Yeah, it's weird because like the memory of it kind of all sort of merge in my head, and I'm like, oh, what's the one when they're in prison? I'm like, oh no, hang on, they didn't start in prison, they started in the flat and then they go to prison. But that probably is the one that kind of sticks out most in my head. Yeah. And obviously some weirdo on Instagram keeps posting clips of it, so I get these nice memories. So little moments like on fireworks night when you.
Yes.
It's completely illegal, stuff like that.
Pato cake.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember, again, because I think I said to you before, how my memories of it, almost my brother quoting it. I do remember my brother doing the whole cornflake and sausage digested thing. So, yeah, a lot of nostalgia in there.
Yeah, definitely. In that one. Yeah, you just go back. You don't have to follow the page, if you don't want to see clips from Bottom Line.
What? But you're my only friend.
Oh, sorry. In which case, continue following the page.
Okay, thanks.
Look, she's actually got 1,800 followers on your Instagram.
Who?
You have.
Me?
Yeah.
Behave.
It's about 1,200.
It will be 1,800 after this.
Give her a follow. I'll put you. I tag her in this. So give her a follow. It's a good Instagram page. Lots of different stuff on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
It's really great.
It's great. And then, of course, the third live show is Hooligans Island, where they're on the island.
Yes.
Which I think is also an excellent live show, and that is again, it's a very disjointed one. Not an awful. I know the ongoing joke is there isn't much of a plot, but I feel like on Hooligans Island there really isn't much of a plot. They drop the bomb in at the end, at the back end of the second half. But other than that, there isn't really about it. It's just a load of bottom chucked into 2 hours worth of live show.
Yeah, that is the one with the long C word, right?
Yes, yeah. Which we're not going to say on this.
We're
I
not
don't
going
think
to
we can
say.
get away with that one.
We're not going to say.
This is marked as safe for anyone on YouTube and stuff. So
yeah,
won't say the C word.
Yeah.
But we can't say it, but Eddie does say it.
We all know what we're talking about. Yeah.
And it's got the cock up, which is it a cock up or was it a cock up once, where the door opens and Rich has that long giggling fit. Rick has that long giggling fit. Do you remember that?
Oh no, I'm thinking sad and tragic news. No, what am I thinking of?
It's a bit like that one, but it is so he's just been shot with a dart, and then Eddie goes to his little secret bunker.
Oh yes.
And the door stays open, and he's like, Eddie.
Yes.
Yes. So again, people are like, oh, it was staged. Well, I saw it somewhere else, and then they did it then too. But
he doesn't have a lot of luck with doors, does he?
No, he doesn't.
Oh,
Of course, no, because the second live show is that you're just a door. I'm Rick effing Mail, which, as we discussed before, is people love that clip.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that clip because it's just Rick being Rick, isn't it? That's always the draw to a lot of these things. When you have the fluffs and the cock ups, it's just an opportunity for Rick to be Rick.
Exactly.
And he definitely does that in that one.
Yeah. I mean, their improv skills are just.
They are. Obviously, yeah. They are. They definitely are. So I'm trying to think what else there is in Hooligans Island. Obviously, the bomb is obviously the thing. Oh, shit! It's all in French. Le danger, le nuclear bomber.
Le grill. Oh, sorry, it's The Simpsons.
That is The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yes. What the hell is that?
This one where he gets his first ever blowjob off a gnat.
Yes. Yeah, where he's in the latrine.
The latrine.
Yeah. I try to think. Having watched it so many times, I'm trying to think of some of the more standout lines, but my mind has actually gone blank.
First ever blowjob. Is this where he's trying to make him lose the plot?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that you're trying to? That's what he's talking about breakfast. He's like, one bush or two. I beg your pardon. Just trying to insert some jazz into your breakfast.
Now I'm just thinking of spud gun and potatoes. What?
One lump or two? Oh, one, yeah. No, one.
No, two.
You were away at Christmas time. Did you have a traditional Christmas dinner when you were away at Christmas?
No,
What was your Christmas Day meal?
Oh God!
For those of you who weren't aware, Casey didn't have a traditional British Christmas this year. She went abroad to a foreign country and had a wonderful time in Miami, and then cruising around the various places. So what did you eat for your Christmas dinner? Tell us.
I was in Honduras, but I actually had a Korean barbecue for dinner.
Nice, very nice.
But you wouldn't have known it was Christmas. It was very horrible.
Oh,
Not hot
awful.
and sunny beaches. Just no, wouldn't recommend.
So you're saying that on Christmas Day there is actually a method to my sidetrack in here. You are surrounded by palm trees, beaches, bamboo. Is that what you were saying? Is that what you're saying on your Christmas Day?
Budgerigars. Yes, it actually was.
Excellent.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Don't worry.
This year.
I think we've exhausted this topic. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I think we're kind of done on this topic.
Yeah, all I can think about is the mess up Richie's back, because I can't say the S word. So.
Hey Rich, do you know you got a lot of up your back? Is my skid mark showing?
There we go. Skid mark, we can say.
More, what does he say? More, I can't remember what he says now. Like the test, something like the, no, I can't remember what he says. We'll have to put this on at some point and watch it and recover it. But yeah. So I think for this part of my bottom on tape, which we will revisit and do a bit more of, I think we're kind of done.
Okay.
Do you think?
I think so.
Anything else you want to add about either our bottom VHSs, bottom in general, or just anything you would like to add?
Viz books.
Viz books. Feels like a good way to send it off.
Okay.
I think I'll just put bollocks. So, thanks for joining us once again for this episode of... I was talking to the audience, not you. I'll thank you in a minute.
I was thanking them.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were saying thank you. Should we do that bit again? Thanks for joining us once again for this episode of My Bottom, featuring Katie Thompson.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. And we will see you again soon.